the X-Wing started to open. I was like, oh. I know what that means.
I forgot how that.
It's Zach with a podcast named Tim, here with another Power Rangers Dino Fury review. Today, Season 1, Episode 2, entitled Sporix Unleashed. Before we get into the review and our monster rating of the week, our first monster rating for Dino Fury, where we look at the plan to defeat the Rangers, the design of the monster, the powers the monster has, their success against the Rangers, and of course their voice. So there's 5 categories we look at to rate every monster. We've done it for Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, and we've also done it with for Beast Morphers, and now we're going to be doing it for Dino Fury. So that'll be towards the end of the episode after the review. So before we get into that, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. So the overall this episode, Dino Fury hasn't really landed for me yet. I know a lot of people are really enjoying it, and that's great. I'm not there yet, but there is some good and some bad here, and I'll explain. I don't know if it's on the show or if it's on me as far as some of the concerns I have. And we'll get into that as we get to the episode. But we do open up on the Rangers training. Zato is teaching them how to do the morphing sequence, and they're obviously struggling a little bit. They're learning how to be Rangers, so that's good. I always appreciate that when we don't just immediately know what we're doing. So I like seeing that. So they do that, and after that, they do notice there are 6. I think it was Ollie noticed there are several statues there, and he says, "Oh, there's 6 statues, only 3 of us. Can we recruit other Rangers?" And Zato says that basically those were lost. And so we are led to believe at this point that there can only be 3 Rangers. I'm sure that will not be the case because Power Rangers. But they end up going inside in order to Salon calls them in. But before I say that, I guess Zato mentions boost keys, which are kind of like power-ups for the Rangers, and we'll talk about those a little bit more at the end of the episode. But so Salon contacts them. They go back into the chamber, and she basically says, we've taken care of the base. We're safe. No one can get in except for us. And then they start talking about the technology that they have. They said they have the scanner, the energy scanner tracker, whatever it is that Void Knight has, and that it exists. And then Ollie has the idea of maybe attaching it to his mom's drone so they can do big aerial scans of everything in order to quickly find the Sporix and get everyone out of danger. Zato warns him against that, and Salon also does as well, says basically mixing alien technology and human technology doesn't always work and can be very unsafe. Zato's plan is basically we need to get the word out, we need to warn everyone so they know, don't go play with these little Sporix gobs, whatever they're called, when you see them. And so they end up going to the Ranger to warn him, Warden Garcia. He obviously doesn't believe them, and here we find out that Ollie has stolen the energy tracker, and he gets it to his mom and initiates the plan that they told him not to anyway. Before they get there, Zato does get rid of his little antennae. He kind of retracts them into his body so he can look a little bit more human. Then we go to Buzz Blast in order to try and warn the boss there, and she is very busy debuting her new J-Bot, I believe it was called, or J-Borg, which is it's a robot that does office work. I don't know. One of the things that I didn't really appreciate about this episode, I didn't care for the humor of that nature. Did not land for me. But while the Rangers are there is an attack there is a Sporix that forms. It is mucus. We'll get into her actual rating later. I guess I should say we'll get into it. But anyway, mucus shows up, and there's an attack at Pine Ridge Dam, and so they go to try and stop him. Of course, they call Ollie over as well, and when they get there, they morph. They hit the sequence correctly, and then Zato takes her out in one blow. And it's kind of funny. I did appreciate this humor where he just said, I didn't expect it to be that easy. Of course, it is not that easy because after this, what's his name? Shockhorn shows up. He is the Sporix beast that we saw in the first episode, and it is here that we learned the first of the boost keys. Basically, it's like a little, I don't know, it looked like a little person, like a little miniature that you would play like Dungeons and Dragons or something with. He puts it into his morpher or his sword, powers him up, and his is stink. And it's just what you would think it'd be. It's a stink gas that messes with everyone. I guess we do find out, I guess, the ranger suits don't have ventilation here because it affects them as well. So it's kind of just a wide-ranging attack that affects ranger and Sporix beast alike. But, do what you gotta do, I guess. The rangers end up returning to the base after this. Excuse me. And we find out that Ollie, of course, has given his mom the technology. He tells the Rangers, even though he was told not to. And because of this, she is under attack by Void Knight and some of the other beasts. Of course, the good guys show up, and it is time to fight. Of course, Shockhorn. I'm kind of going through this, kind of the big swath. There's probably smaller things that are being missed, but just the big picture of what the episode happened. Shockhorn is now fully grown, and he is, obviously we now need a Zord, and the T-Rex Champion Zord, which of course is the Red Ranger Zord, is the first one that's going to be showing up here. I should say in the attack that happened beforehand, the energy scanner is destroyed, so that is not a thing anymore, or at least damaged. Anyway, T-Rex Zord shows up, or T-Rex Champion Zord shows up, and he has another little, kind of like a boost key, but this one's red, and it's like a little miniature of the battle mode that you would go into. He throws it somehow, it goes big, gets on the back, and then he goes into the Zord. It's one of the styles as far as the interior of the Zord where it's just a big open room. He puts his sword into like a key to activate it, and then gets another sword, I guess, to do the movements and fighting in. I really like the design of the Zord, and I really liked the battle mode. It looked like it had a lot of maneuverability, a lot of different weapons and options. It had like a chomp attack, it had like a tail attack, it had a bunch of different things. So I really enjoyed the Zord, and looks like there's going to be a lot of opportunity for some really cool Zord fights with that. While this is also going on, Amelia and Ollie use their boost keys, and Amelia has it's like gravity, I think she calls it. It's like a gravity themed attack. Basically, it's a giant metal ball, like a chain and ball, and it ties up Shockhorn and messes with him. And then Ollie's, I had a hard time catching what Ollie's was. It says here it's power, but it looked like he just kind of was able to go really fast and really hard to attack him. Just get a little souped up. It's interesting that he has the power as his boost key, since in Beast Morphers it was also a strength-based power, but they both use their boost keys, and the bad guy is defeated by Zato and the T-Rex Champion Zord. They go back to the command center, I guess. I don't know if it has a name now. The chamber. And Ollie apologizes for not going along with the plan. They end up filming a little infomercial in Power Ranger outfit. They have like a hotline where you can call and text and stuff. And if you see, Sporix out on. So I guess everyone has been sufficiently warned now. We also see Void Knight and Mucus, who is going out to Area 62. It is an area, he says, Void Knight says that it's an area that was abandoned by humans years ago. There was some kind of machine in there, and he puts the Sporix, I guess I should say, when Shockhorn was defeated, it goes back into Sporix form. You can't defeat them, but it becomes stronger. I guess you're like imbued with power, or it's some kind of Saiyan thing where you get stronger after every fight. But basically, the Sporix is now even more powerful, and he puts it into a machine to start powering this machine up. Of course, it doesn't have enough, and we're going to need more Sporix to power up the machine. So that happened. And then, so the bad guys now have a hideout. Overall, here's some of my random issues. Things I like, I'll do the things I like first. I like that the Rangers had to learn due to the morphing sequence, and we were being taught that. I love the Zord and the look of it, the maneuverability of it, and the fighting of it. And those are the two big things I really liked. Things I didn't like about the episode, or just kind of what I've noticed so far. I don't. Oh, and I should say, I also like it appears that they're going to have a monster debut one episode, and then you're going to actually fight them the next episode. Because Shockhorn showed up in the beginning, at the end of last episode, he was the monster we fought this episode. Mucus showed up. She had a little bit of fighting. When they attacked her, she like came back together. But it looks like she's going to be the actual villain, the monster of the week for next week. So I like the idea of kind of introducing the monster of the week ahead of time just to build that anticipation for that fight next week. So I do like that as well. But the humor is not really landing for me. I thought that it was weird that we were focusing so much on the need for training, but the Rangers are still able to use their boost keys immediately. And I would have liked to draw that out a little bit more and to draw out the Zord fight a little bit more. It just seemed like a lot to have in one episode. I would have liked to slowly debut those boost keys so you could find out what each Ranger has, and the Zord as well. Say it's not operational for a couple episodes. So I just would have preferred a slower burn with some of that. As far as the villains, there are two things I don't like right now. One is I don't understand the organizational structure. Typically we have a general, a head leader. They have some lieutenants underneath them, and then we have our monster of the week. We kind of have a leader. There's no real lieutenants underneath him, and he's just kind of randomly finding Sporix, and they're just joining him for whatever reason because you're a monster, I'm a monster. I don't understand that dynamic. And the other thing is, because these Sporix become stronger after they're defeated, that means that the Rangers, by defeating the bad guys, are actually helping the villain accomplish his goal. Because his goal is to power up this machine, whatever it is. If he keeps finding Sporix, or they just keep showing up, the Rangers defeat him, all he has to do is steal them before they get to him, and his machine is going to be powered up. So them defeating bad guys is making them have more energy, which is helping him out. And it's kind of weird to have the Rangers' ultimate goal of defeating bad guys also helping out the bad guys. It's just kind of weird for me. But that's my general thoughts on where we are with the episode and with the season so far. The boost keys are interesting. Obviously, having Stink as a power it's there. Again, it's one of those things I wish we would have just slowly debuted it, and maybe not start off with Stink. Maybe start off with something cool, and then do the comedy boost key a few episodes later. But that's just me. Let's go ahead and get into Shocktron, or excuse me, Shockhorn. Shockatron was a villain from Beast Morphers. So I'm doing this off the cuff. Shockhorn, we have, again, 5 categories: the design of the monster, the plan of action, the success of that plan, the powers they have, and the voice. And you use all those 1 to 5 for each category. So 25 out of 25 would be the best monster. 5 out of 25 would be the worst monster. So the design of Shockhorn, I'm going to give the design a 2. It's a really big head, and it's weird that his head goes down into the, I don't know, it's an evil unicorn, which, there's something to be said there. It's, I don't know. I'm going to just say 2. 2. It's below average. 3 would kind of be my average rating. For the plan, 1, is there a plan? He just kind of showed up. There doesn't seem, that again, that goes to my issue with there's not really an organizational structure. There's not a game plan. There's this machine now, but it doesn't seem like there's a systematic plan for why we're using monsters. So 1 for the plan. The success of the plan. Did he do anything? I mean, honestly, I watched the episode twice. I can't tell you anything successful that Shockhorn did. So I'm gonna say a 1. This is not a good start. Normally the first villains, they don't do much, because they're just there. You know what? I'll say 2 because it did at least grow to big form and had to fight a Zord. Sometimes they are not. You don't even get that. So 2 for the look, 1 for the plan, 2 for the success against the Rangers. The powers. Again, what are the powers? He has the swordsmanship. That's about it. No, I didn't see anything else really. So we're gonna say 1 for the power. And for the voice, it's a cowboy voice, and I don't know why our evil unicorn with a rapier has a cowboy voice. So I'll say 2. I'll be very generous. So with a 2 for the look, a 1 for the plan, a 2 for the powers, I think that's what I said, and now I'm forgetting what I said. Normally I have this written down in advance, but I wanted to get this out as quickly as possible. Let's see, I will add it up on the calculator right here. Let's see, 2 for the plan, and plus, or look, 1 for the plan, 2 for the success, 1 for the powers, and we'll say 2 for the voice. Be nice. A 6. It's a 6. That's what I have. If it's wrong, it'll be fixed in a graphic that I have here. But I was trying to remember everything I had. Thank you for checking out this review, and please do check out some of our Beast Morpher and Mighty Morphin reviews. We're all the way up from Mighty Morphin, all the way right before the Green Ranger debut. We'll do that coming up here soon. And for Beast Morphers, I am at the end of season 1. And then we'll keep going through, and we're going to keep doing these. Dino Fury, we talk some Star Wars, we talk movies, we do lots of stuff later on the channel. But thank you for checking it out, and see you next time here on a podcast named Tim.